Thanks for watching ERi-TV, dear viewers. Welcome to our news broadcast. Here are the headlines. Social welfare programs in Southern region. Commission of Culture and Sports provides vocational training. 4 Israeli soldiers, 200 Palestinians released in Gaza ceasefire deal. Over 400,000 people displaced by violence in eastern DR Congo. In our domestic news, the Ministry of Labour and Social Welfare branch in the Southern region reported that in 2024, social service programs worth over 57 million nakfa were implemented. The report was presented during an activity assessment meeting held in Mandafara on 23 January. Mr. Haile Gabra-Mikael, head of the branch office, stated that the social welfare programs focused on improving the livelihoods of disadvantaged citizens in general, with particular attention to the families of martyrs and foster families. According to the report, 51 million nakfa was dispersed to families of martyrs, while an additional 1 million nakfa contributed by the community was distributed in cash and materials. Furthermore, school materials were provided to 1,185 disadvantaged students. Over 3.8 million nakfa contributed by nationals in the diaspora was also dispersed to families of martyrs. Additionally, 104 foster families from 12 subzones across the region were rehabilitated with livestock and support for small-scale trade. The participants of the meeting held extensive discussions on the reports presented and adopted various recommendations. Speaking at the occasion, Mr. Al-Ab Tesfa Selassie, Director General of Social Welfare, called on the public and relevant institutions to strengthen their participation and contributions in supporting families of martyrs and disadvantaged citizens. The Commission of Culture and Sports has provided vocational training to 56 youth. Among them, 10 youth completed a 3-year training program in music, 22 youth participated in 3-month dance training, and 24 youth underwent a 3-month program in document and financial management. Highlighting the significance of the training, Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Tsagai, Head of Administration and Finance at the Commission, emphasized the importance of sustaining such programs to further develop cultural activities. In related news, vocational training was also provided to 196 youth, including 89 females, in the Foro subzone. The training covered areas such as electricity, first aid, and social sciences. Mr. Osman Ahmeddin, head of the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students in the subzone, urged the trainees to apply their skills practically and announced that similar training programs will be organized in the future. Mr. Suleiman Yusuf, Head of Political and Organizational Affairs at the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students in the Northern Red Sea region, noted that the various training programs will significantly contribute in nurturing competent youth and in transferring societal values. He also commended those who contributed to the successful implementation of the programs. On his part, Mr. Saeed Ali, Head of Administration and Finance in the Foro subzone, stressed that addressing the needs of youth is a shared responsibility and expressed the subzonal administration's commitment to playing its part in these efforts. The National Union of Eritrean Women in the Southern Red Sea region organized a meeting on 22 January to discuss ways to strengthen the union's organizational capacity. During the meeting, Ms. Saida Ibrahim, head of the union branch in the region, provided a detailed briefing on the current status of the union branch and its ongoing collaborative efforts to enhance organizational capacity. She also elaborated on initiatives aimed at improving maternal and child health, eradicating harmful practices, and increasing school enrollment among female students. Ms. Sadia further called on union leaders at all levels to focus on developing the union's activities, passing on its values to the younger generation, and utilizing opportunities such as vocational training programs. Participants held extensive discussions on the issues raised during the meeting and adopted various recommendations. That was our domestic news. Please stay tuned now for the international news right after the short break. Israel said today 200 Palestinians were released from its jails within the scope of the second exchange with Hamas under the January 15 truce deal. It is expected to release dozens more as part of the deal. On the other hand, Hamas has released 4 female Israeli soldiers held in Gaza as part of the ceasefire agreement, handing them over to International Committee of the Red Cross officials in Palestine Square in Gaza City. The 4 female Israeli soldiers who were in Israeli military uniforms waved to the crowd as they were released. Meanwhile, buses carrying released Palestinian prisoners were seen departing from the Israeli Offer military prison in the occupied West Bank soon after the captives were freed. Israel's prison service said all 200 prisoners have been released in line with the list published by Hamas. The Israeli army confirmed it received the released soldiers from the Red Cross, adding that they will undergo a medical assessment. Over 40,000 Palestinians, 70% of which are women and children, have been killed and over 100,000 wounded in indiscriminate bomb shelling since October 2023, when Israel began its attack in the Gaza Strip, till the signing of the ceasefire deal in January 2025. More than 400,000 people have been displaced by violence in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, according to the UN Refugee Agency. Residents described the spread of panic as M23 rebels took control of Sake, a town only 27 kilometers from the provincial capital, a day earlier. M23 has made significant territorial gains in recent weeks, encircling Goma, which has around 2 million people and is a regional hub for security and humanitarian efforts. The evening patrols came just hours after a military spokesman confirmed the governor of Eastern Congo's North Kivu province had died from injuries sustained during fighting on the front line. The circumstances around the death of Major General Peter Kirimwawi were unclear. The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has called for an immediate ceasefire and for the M23 to respect the agreement reached in July of 2024. More than 7 million people have been displaced by the fighting. Earlier this month, M23 captured the towns of Minova, Katale and Misisi, west of Goma. Rwanda is accused of backing the recent wave of attacks by the M23. UN experts estimate that there are up to 4,000 Rwandan forces in Congo. M23 is one of about 100 armed groups that have been vying for a foothold in mineral-rich eastern Congo along the border with Rwanda, in a decades-long conflict that has created one of the world's largest humanitarian crises. Please stay tuned now for a recap of tonight's headlines. Social welfare programs in southern region. Commission of Culture and Sports provides vocational training. 4 Israeli soldiers, 200 Palestinians released in Gaza ceasefire deal. Over 400,000 people displaced by violence in eastern DRC. That was our news for tonight, dear viewers. It is good night from us.